Hello everyone, this is Lexicon Architect, and for today's deck tech, we're going to be looking at Naya Enchantments in standard format, best of one. And this list was created by a YouTube content creator named Swayze. So I have to give Swayze a shout out for making this deck. I have been playtesting it on the ladder in best of three, not best of one. But even so, I've been having good success with it. Between like a 55 to 60% win rate, even in best of three. This deck does not have a sideboard, but it is still very potent. And if it's not dealt with early, you can just run away with games out of nowhere. And our curve is so low that we could just play everything that we want um, very consistently. So let's get into the creature package. First, we're going to talk about our one drop Generous Visitor. It is a one green spirit, one mana green spirit. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you put a 1/1 counter on it. So as we have this out and we play our enchantments, we can grow Generous Visitor, or we can put our 1/1 counters on our Calyx, our Jukai, our Kami, or our Spirited Companion. Next, we're going to talk about Jukai Naturalist, a Selesnya, a 2 mana Selesnya creature with lifelink, enchantment creature that reduces the cost of our enchantments by 1, so they become 1 less to cast. Then we have Kami of Transience, a 2 mana spirit with trample that says whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you put a 1/1 counter on it. And at the beginning of each end step, if an enchantment was put into your graveyard from the battlefield, you may return Kami of Transience from your graveyard to our hand. So this is good because it allows us to continuously get back Kami and keep dropping it on board. And hopefully we can play a bunch of enchantments on top of it to get it back to a big beefy creature that we can swing through with trample damage to win the game. Next, we have Spirited Companion, a 2 mana enchantment creature dog that when it ETBs, it draws a card. So this is going to help us get towards our enchantment spells so we can play this on turn 2. If we do have Jukai Naturalist out, it becomes 1 white to play instead of 2 mana. Next, one of the cards that brings the deck all together is Calyx Guided by Fate. 3 mana Selesnya spell that says whenever it or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you put a 1/1 counter on target creature, and then whenever it or an enchanted creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may create a token that's a copy of a non-legendary enchantment you control. Do this only once each turn. So the cool part about it is that we can either copy our enchantment spells or we can copy our Jukai Naturalist or our Spirited Companion. So if we need to make another copy of Jukai for whatever reason, we can do that when we deal combat damage with Calyx or an enchanted creature. Or we can we can create another Spirited Companion to draw us a card. As far as our enchantments go, we're running 16 in total. So we have 4 Audacity, which for 1 mana gives a creature +2 +2/+0 and has trample, and then whenever it's put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you draw a card. So this is cool because potentially we can load up a creature with several enchantments. Because Sticky Fingers also does the same thing. Whenever a enchanted creature dies, you draw a card. Well, it's not the same, but in the same context that it draws you a card um, when the creature leaves the battlefield. Then we have Draconic Destiny, to help us get over problematic creatures like, for example, Glissa the Sunslayer, if I'm saying it correctly, allows us to fly over, and we can bump our creature by paying 1 mana to give it +1/+0 for the amount of mana spent to do it. And then whenever an enchanted creature dies, return Draconic Destiny to its owner's hand. And then Sticky Fingers is excellent here because it gives our creature menace, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you get to create a treasure token, so it's going to allow us to ramp to make sure we can play our cards. And then lastly, the best enchantment in the deck, Atali's Favor. So when it ETBs, you discover 3. You exile cards from the top of your library until you hit a non-land card with mana value 3 or less. You can cast it without paying its mana cost, or put it into your hand and you put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And it also gives your creature +1/+1 in trample. So this works really well with Calyx. So if we do connect with Calyx or an enchanted creature that does have Atali's Favor on it, We can use Cowlick Guided by Fate ability to copy Atali's Favor, put Atali's Favor onto another creature, and then discover 3, and then either grab another creature depending on what we hit, or we can grab another enchantment. As far as lands go, we have Boseiju to destroy an artifact, enchantment, or non-basic, Iganjo to deal 4 damage to attacking or blocking creature by channeling it for 3, and then Jetmir Garden just to make sure our mana base is correct, or we can cycle it away to draw a card. So that's the deck in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed this deck tech. Please hit the subscribe button at the bottom right of my YouTube video, or just hit the subscribe button on my channel. It'll help me out a lot. And you guys have a good night and have fun playing this on the ladder.